So, this is something that I was thinking about today about I'm sorry. Before I begin, I would just like to warn everyone that what I'm about to say may include self-harm topics. It will include self-harm topics. Excuse me, and I will talk about a little bit about um, my very careful thoughts about what it may bring someone to that instant where they want to end the pain so much that they are willing to give up everything that they are at the moment. Um, I I just want to first say this, that I have no intentions of offending anyone. It's just my careful thoughts, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts about it. If I said something, or if I come off as careless or um, very empty-minded, I would like to apologize in advance that I have no intentions of doing so. But yeah, yeah, here I am gonna share a few thoughts. What I believe about the act of ending the world that is you, how you perceive it, because right now, your consciousness, it's an ongoing process of film. It's like that. It's like that. Excuse me, Kevin. It's like that um, timer that is you just can't see how much is left. It's like that ongoing, excuse me, film. And when you kind of realize that you are at the same time, it truly scares you, right? Especially if you're ridden with terrible thoughts of paranoia. um i I personally had thoughts of this. I felt sometimes time would go too slowly, time would go too quickly. But in the end, I'm like trapped in this sort of reality, in this sort of time frame that is considered to be 1 second, um, a minute, hour, day, week, you name it, right? And it drove me a little mad at first that I was stuck in this 1 second, like how 1 second is like. And how we're always just dictated to this time in general, like 9 o'clock. Like you have to do this at 9 o'clock. You have to do this at 12 o'clock. You have to do this at 8 o'clock. Like it's just permanently there. I've gone off topic, but what I think about how, because this is just an interesting speculation. Um, as I've heard, um, from, and this is not saying this is a majority of jumpers or people who attempted suicide um, are like this. It's from some stories I hear immediate remorse. The survivors, I hear remorse. I hear that the moment they left, the moment they jumped, immediately they regretted it, or when they were running halfway down, they realized that everything that was unfixable in their life suddenly became fixable, and what was not fixable, unfortunately, was when they jumped down. I believe that was a very um, that was one of the um, what one of the survivors shared after he jumped. Um, and my careful assumption, uh, I don't know if assumption is the correct word. Speculation. I may speculation maybe. It's I feel like your as your level of happiness goes up, your level of depression also goes down. Like it that increases as well. It's your happiness never increases by itself, but your sense of depression or a sense of terrible thoughts, the opposite of happiness, the capacity for that also increases. It's, you know, when people are at the lowest, when people have been very hungry, people who have been hungry, they know the state of being broke. They know how cold nights can get. They know how scary and terrible nights can get. So they do everything that they can to maintain happiness. They just are more aware of that. Um, and what I thought about it was, I'm sorry, that was. I don't think I'm doing it. So what I wanted to, so the major point that I wanted to convey was, I'm sorry for wasting your time. The major point that I wanted to convey was, your level of pain goes, just hits this point. Like we all, I believe, all of us have this level of threshold where the pain is just too much. Like we can't take it anymore. Like the mind isn't built for such over overstimulation of pain. And the the body's action of jumping, because it only takes that instant for me to, let's say I want to move my finger. It's like that. Once once that once that action of, hey, move this finger, works, I can't say, okay, don't move it. Like I can't retract that, if that makes sense. Like I don't know, I don't entirely know. I don't even think it's possible within talented sports players. Like if they want to shoot, um when they, for basketball, let's say, like if they want to make a throw, but then they realize that it was not the perfect stance that they wanted to make a throw in, but it's too late to retract that um action. So it's like it's a very instant. What I'm trying to say is that it's a very instantaneous moment. You can't retract that. And in my opinion, when they are at, okay, my thing, Kindle just went on. Okay, when they are at that very exact moment, that's perfectly, quote unquote, I'm sorry for saying quote unquote, that's perfectly, they are literally on the edge. It's on the edge of where they are able to end their life. Um, and the moment they jump, they tell their legs to step one more step forward, one step, and they jump. They can't retract that. The, the instantaneous moment when the pain hit over goes over the stimulus of where they can handle the pain. It, for a second, overrides it goes over beyond beyond the lines, beyond the level, but then it comes back, it retracts back. And this is what I like want to think about in the way of homeostasis, because the body is still trying to fight back to the natural state, but immediately when the pain goes a little bit beyond for that moment, they jump, but then the body kind of retracts back to that state. And once they've done it, they regret it, even though they are still hurting. Um, yeah, it's um, I don't know. That's just one of the thoughts that I had. It's Um, I've also thought about, when people say that their world um, was leaving the room, right? For example, it could be parents, it could be their pets, it could be their loved ones. But literally, they see their loved ones, like, excuse me, not their loved ones, their world literally leaving the room. Like, when I heard phrases like that, it didn't really come to me at first, but then maybe slowly, excuse me, not maybe, I'm slowly, um, I believe, getting to understand how that really is. Your world is how you make of it, right? As in, how you interpret light, how you interpret sound, how you interpret color, how you interpret, you know, uh, everyday objects. And if I can't imagine one person having giving one individual a sense of reality, everything that makes one person to continue with their lives, because that person just makes everything else make sense, you know. And I thought that was so scary, like just absolutely frightening, because we don't live forever. Um, I have something else that I want to say. It was about um I really hope I don't get the title of this film wrong. It's called the Taking of Pelham 123. I believe. I'm not entirely sure about the numbers, but actually I didn't organize my thoughts coherently enough to translate what I the meaning of translate to you guys or communicate with you guys about what I'm thinking about the movie. There's a scene where yeah yeah, I don't think it's that important. I'll share it if I think it's important, maybe later down the line. But I wrote it down, so I know what I want to say about it, so I won't forget. But I don't know if it's really relevant. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue reading. This is so haunting. Yet I know. Yet I know that it takes 4 seconds to fall those 220 feet. Isn't that so haunting of a line? That means your pain, you know, it will only take 4 seconds, and then your pain will be gone. Oh my god. Okay. More people die by suicide. I'm just gonna read something that I found was interesting. One of the most here it goes. Okay, one of the most memorable lessons I learned from my dad comes from his work and life experiences. He taught me that it is not nearly enough to want, hope, or wish to succeed. These abstract thoughts do not come close to achieving true success. It is careless to feel entitled to receiving a fortune just because those circumstances were once a part of your life, just like it's useless to feel hopeless without them. If your mother and father have money now, or have had money all their lives, your life is not necessarily set for you, no matter how much money you come from or are positioned to inherit. He always reminded me that anything can happen and everything can change. that concludes day 78. I will see you guys on day 79. Thank you for joining me today in this hour of reading, and I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Bye bye.